The engine is starting up.
For launch. GC, go. Guidance, go. Fido, go. Prop, go. GNC, go. Max, go. Eagle, go. Ecom,
go. Pending final steps. The cabin link check.
3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Good evening, travelers and those alike. Welcome to the show. I'm Ed, the Hitman Odell, the quintessential cosmic traveler himself.
And I am Rhonda Harris.
And you are watching the Orion Effect. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. Richmond doing okay down there tonight?
Richmond is cold and rainy.
We got a little cold and rainy down here in the mountains too.
It is chilly and rainy.
And we got another Plains person that'll be joining us in just a few minutes as well. We're really excited. Thank God that we have that disclaimer. We are going to need it tonight.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Travelers and those like, we have a show for you. I'm really excited about this. This came out of nowhere. I had a brain thought and I was like, hey. And I jumped over to our good friends over at the Things Network and discussed a little something because of a documentary I saw 2 weekends ago. And
Ooh.
it led to what we're going to be talking about tonight. As a fact, for those who are just tuning in or listening, because we know you can't see us now, we know we have our podcast audience out there now.
Yep.
Let us say this. Welcome to the Orion Effect. Tonight we will be talking about hoaxes and troubles behind the scenes of Paranormal TV. Our special
Oh.
oh yeah. Uh,
Whoa.
Our special guest, Adrienne Clayton, tonight will be speaking with her about her experiences, sharing experiences from other investigators that were on TV episodes, even what happens, what they interview, and when they get the real story. We will look at 8 videos and end with a unique point from a live video that was created 14 years ago by a local Virginia team. So we'll be returning that. I want to say hello to everybody. And before we bring on our special guest, co-hostess, if you will, Rhonda.
Well, not everybody is saying hello to us because I see a whole bunch more people out there that is saying hello. But hello, Ashley Herndon and Cindy Wackhorn. We appreciate you joining. And the rest of you, if you don't say hi, how do we know you're here?
Well, you know what? That's a good point. Are you turning in from Rumble? Are you turning in from YouTube?
Right.
Let us know. Here's the other thing. If by chance you are catching this show from a jump location on Facebook, it is a good possibility we can't see you. So go ahead, let us know so we know that you can see us throughout Facebook. We really
Or
appreciate
even if you're watching the replay, put in a hashtag replay in the comments, and then we know that you chimed in and saw us. So hello, Julie, Michelle, and Chris Fox wrote in. We
Hello.
love y'all for being here. Please say hi because we'd rather talk to you while we're live. But anything works. Just let us know you were here.
Yep, exactly. Now we're playing double duty tonight. So after this show, an hour later, come on over and listen to some music on YouTube. We're going into the 70s pop and what they actually called oh my
Oh my
goodness.
God, you sent me on like a tailspin. But what's funny is once I figured out what you were talking about, I
Kind of
was like, okay, this isn't nearly
isn't that bad.
what I thought, but I had never heard it called that.
Bubblegum rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Top 40 bubblegum. So we're looking forward to that. That'll be nice. Oh, and we want to say hello again. I want to say hello to our good friend and creator, founder of Things Network, Jeremy York, is in the house. Jeremy's been on the show. So we're really excited about bringing him back, hopefully in 2026. Michelle Welfong just was with us last weekend. We're excited about what's going on. Thank you for that. And again, let us know where you're tuning into. Now, before we bring Adrienne in, I want to talk a little bit about this weekend because some interesting things happen. And you know what? I got an idea. We're gonna hold on. Let me ring Jeremy. Okay, we have joy, we have fun, we have
We have
seasons.
seasons in the sun.
You better be
Yes.
tuning in tonight because that's it. Yeah, exactly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, all of you travelers, let us welcome our special guest hostess evening. She is in the house. She is again Miss Adrienne Clayton on Things Network. What?
Hello,
Hi.
Hello, and thank you for being here. Oh, are we gonna open that can of what the
I'm excited.
hell?
I'll put this disclaimer out right now. What I'm going to say does not apply to everybody, and it does not apply to all shows. All I can speak about is my experience.
Right, exactly.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
With saying that, we've got to make sure we are not targeting anyone that is not in the social light already. What you will be seeing are clips and snips from those shows that have aired and from other YouTubers who are giving their insight on what they've seen. Now, I also have permission to talk about one case from when Ghost Attack. They actually are here in Virginia in the Shenandoah Valley. So I have permission to talk to and about that case and the follow up after that case. It was only a couple of years ago. This is going to be really interesting. So when me and Adrienne talked about this, and I was like, well, they were talking about it on their show first. They were doing a little hit, and I was like, oh, let's reel this in. I see a good show out of this. And then I decided to take that white hat off and went, okay, sometimes I do wear this hat, you know, and
That's not your black hat. That's your shades of gray hat.
my shades of gray.
You know it's brown, but you get the gist.
That's right. Oh, let's say hello to the other frog brother. He just jumped in there.
Mr. Robert Odell.
The other half of my blood. Yep, that's right. So I know they're not here, but I know they will be catching the archive. So this is going to be speaking about Hill City Paranormal.
Okay.
On the experiences last night, I want to get y'all's opinion on this, and we're going to jump into the show. Last night, they did their public investigation at the Sandusky house. It went for their first time. You know, it was a great investigation. This is not a house that's known for activity at all. However, on that note, we had some activity. Now, a couple things happened, and it was really intriguing. We got some really good EVPs out of there. We got a lot of equipment action. We did. We went to the second floor, and this is where I'm going to bring you two in here and get your insights and your input. I know you might even put your feelers out there because they are there tonight. Again, doing the last tour, which is at 10 o'clock. And that is, again, Hill City Paranormal. That is Sean Elliott and Courtney, wonderful good friends of the network and friends of Rhonda and I's.
Personally, yeah.
Yes, right. Personal. So here's the situation. We have 5 people with us in our group. And it was myself and Sean. Courtney had her group downstairs. It is a landing, so it is that classic 19th century mansion for Virginia. Okay, so it's got the 2 towers, the centerpiece. So you got your foyer and then the staircase that goes up. And then it leads up and splits the 2 rooms. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Michael Brooks.
So the tale, and I say that because the staff is the only people that have talked about it because, again, this is not a well-located location. Now, presidents have been there, et cetera, but it's been quiet. It's a House of the Huttons and other locations. Also, the federal headquarters during the Battle of Lynchburg. That much true. There is some form of bloodshed that was there. It was on the floor, but it wasn't a hospital. So we don't know what happened. We do also know that it was a signal house. So they did show me where they can go on top of the roof. That was pretty cool. Because even at Bell Nemus, I didn't know about this, and get out and show the flags. Either they're going to run or stand or, communicating to the troops. Okay. Well, the legend is that you can see Mrs. Hutton standing on the second level looking down. And at times their daughter is beside her. Okay. Well, this is really interesting. Now, they are, again, 19th century period individuals. All right. So I put changing the colors. I found purple laser grid. I found a purple laser grid. Score. And put that there. We shut the door to the Hutton's bedroom. Sean applied and Mike, you might remember this piece of equipment. I do never remember the name of it, but it is the laser grid that has the red laser grid and shows cold and hot and a motion location on the grid. I don't know why I don't remember it right now. That was aimed at the inside door towards the door. Now, hello, Lois. And Jeremy, I'm going to come back to you. Don't worry. So while we were there in about 10 to 15 minutes, we started getting some interesting hits on this piece of equipment where the entire screen almost went completely blue for coldness. Should not be doing that. Now, the next thing that happened is everybody in the room, everybody except for me, because I'm standing on the other side of the door on the doorway. Everybody's seeing the purple laser grid being manipulated. Like there's somebody walking outside. Confirmed, nobody's there. But the other piece of equipment started to register someone pacing either back and forth around. Now, then they saw a thank you, brother man. I knew you would get it. That's it. I knew it. Yes, GS2. Then the entire room saw the entire purple light go completely dark. Then it came back on bright, of course. Now, that was a trip. Now, confirmed, we go outside. Nothing wrong with the purple laser. In fact, the green laser that I pointed in the other room is perfectly fine. We bring the purple laser into the room. We shut the door again. We put it beside the GS2. So you have the purple with the red. So you got all the purple and all the squares of the GS2 square grid. And this is the coolest thing I have ever seen in a long time. We saw a full body apparition walk across the door through the laser grid. So it went like this, completely blocked everything out and went over to the back room. Now, this is what intrigues me. This is why I'm going to come to you too about, and there's many of you investigators in chat right now. We're going to talk to y'all, Jeremy. What happened then is this is a brand new laser splitter, brand new, fully charged. It discharged, but at the end of what I'm assuming could have been a discharge, because it was not discharged, by the way. I tested it again. Me and Sean tend to have this problem with laser grids. It started blinking. So it was a constant pulse. It was pulsating. Get your opinions on that. Wow, I just made everybody speechless.
Well, I'm going to say this and you touched on it. There is something with you and Sean's energy together that causes something with laser grids. Because this is like the second or third time, fourth time that this has happened with laser grids when the two of you are together.
Sarah said
something about your frequency and your energy that is causing something.
And we definitely get manipulation in play all the time. You're right. Adrienne, what do you think?
Does your laser grid have a setting for flashing?
No.
Okay.
It's a solid grid.
Okay. I know mine has several settings that are crazy that I wish it didn't have.
That one hasn't shown up yet. I do have that on order. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I got mine from Waverly Hills.
Okay.
Why, I really don't know. It's not produced anything yet for me, but I don't do a lot of except maybe residentials. But were you or anybody in that room feeling different at the time? Were you angry? Were you any kind of feelings that were not normal?
No. That is actually the first thing I would go through when that situation takes place. And there was no change with any of the individuals, including Sean. Well, okay, Sean got excited. And, I'm getting a little excited too, because we're having this again. But everybody was really calm. We had a really great group, and everybody was just like, wow. It was a wow moment for them too. So I'm going to ask y'all before we move on, would you consider that a mass haunting? Is it more than two people that witnessed a paranormal experience?
I would consider that evidence, yes. And like most of us, if you were all in the same room and that, and honestly, it depends on, the person, you trust the person, because, when somebody brings you, let's say, evidence from a residential and says, oh, this happened, you're going, well, what was in the other room? What was here? What was there? Were your windows open? All kinds of things. But, when it's somebody you trust and knows all the outside perimeters and knows what was going on outside of that, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good question, Robert. He said, "Did that happen at the cabin and at the cemetery church too?" Yeah, it did happen at the cabin, but we had more of this controlled experiment at the cemetery. And at this point, I will not speak the cemetery name. However, it is in Lynchburg. I will say that. And we can talk about this another time and get really in depth with it. I think colors and frequency are playing a big thing right now. I will say that.
I think you and Sean need to do a control thing with laser grids in just somewhere you don't believe it, which is hard for me to say because I'm at the point in my life where I believe everywhere is haunted. I believe there's not anywhere you can go and not put up a piece of equipment that you won't get something or a hit or whatever, but something more controlled where you're not and just see because I don't know if the two of y'all's energy is putting off something that is making things happen or if it's just that you're opening some sort of door that lets things come in more easily. I'm not sure which.
That's interesting you say that because he made the comment, how is it and why are we getting EVPs tonight when we haven't had EVPs for the last 2 or 3 weeks when they started there? This is in the room that Mr. Hutton passed away in a chair. He's had nothing in that room until last night, and we were getting EVP after EVP after EVP. So, Rhonda, I'm going to lean to that, and that's something that I really want to experiment with.
I don't know. Do some tests on y'all's energy when you're in a room together. Like test an energy when one of y'all comes in, like a baseline. One of you, the next one. What is it? Does anything change when y'all are together? That would be interesting for me to see.
Good.
Well, that goes along the lines of if you're open and you're willing, even by yourself, if you're open and you're willing, things are going to happen. And things that happen may not be something you can explain or that you can honestly prove because some of it are feelings, some of it are being touched, and you can't prove any of that. And, that's why I like personal experience better than, anything you can record, except maybe EVPs.
I agree. Yeah, and I do believe there's certain people you investigate with that just sets some sort of tone. Mm-hmm. And what I will say is you and Sean are both more open than you used to be to not that neither one of you weren't open to feeling and experiencing, but I think you both are leaning more in that aspect and seeing more of that open up within yourselves.
I'll go with that. The response, Adrienne, with Rhonda and Sean is really good too. Yeah. They actually have really great dead bell reaction. So I've never seen the dead bell work with anything other than what Rhonda and Sean did. So I'm really impressed with that. We got to get into the show. We could talk about this all night long, but I really want to take the white hat off and put the black hat on. I'm letting you all know now, this is going to be a serious show. We may piss some of you off. We don't have the intent to piss you off. We are giving you evidence and discussing the situation. However, before we get into that, we're going to show in video. Then we're going to go to Adrienne and we're going to talk about that situation she dealt with, and then we're going to go further from that. So, yes. So, without further ado, let's get this show started. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to check this out.
Is the TV show Ghost Adventures real? Zach Bagans can kiss my Season 1 and Season 2, both of those Ghost Adventure seasons are real. The reason why they're real is because Zach Bagans would run to the ghosts every single time that a ghost would make a noise. He would go right to it with his IR light camera. He wouldn't run away like all these fakers. Secondly, he would prove his evidence through his EVP recorders. The reason why he sold out was because he wasn't getting enough evidence anymore.
Bam! Now, I'm going to tell you why. I actually follow Noah, and I'm going to give him some support. That's Noah Faraday. He's actually an amazing investigator, and he's very honest. He's very front, and he tells it as it is. So I wanted to bring that out and let people hear. And some people think the same way, and some people. But I agree. Taps was the same way when they first came out. They're couple of episodes were pretty on target, and then they fell by the wayside by corporate standards, in my opinion. Saying that. I need to say, hey, Jen, welcome and thank you for being here as always. Thanksgiving weekend in Canada. Happy
Right.
Thanksgiving. And thank you, dear. Jeremy said, hey, Ed, do you have a generic logo for the Orion Effect? One without guests and dates on it? I'd like to feature it on the annual things video that I do every year. Jeremy, and I appreciate you that we do have our standard logo, which is the Orion Effect logo. And yeah, we actually do have that banner. We have a promo banner that Rhonda and I use that has the Sunday date. So I'll get you some information, Jeremy, and thank you for asking that. I'll get it over to
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you as we try to do the same for all the networks. Jason Bland, don't miss him tonight at 11 o'clock. Paranormal Soup. Get your cup of soup tonight. Let's keep moving on this. So here's the deal, folks. We're bringing you in behind the scenes, behind the curtains. What you see on these paranormal television shows, what you think takes place comparatively to what does. And the reason I went here, and again, I'm going to express this, is 2 weekends ago, I saw Adrienne's case. Now, that's the television show version. And what did I do, Adrienne?
Message me immediately.
Ow! Just like that, because there was a question that I have, because based on the case. So I'm like, okay, I'll ask the question. And then she opened up a whole nother can of whoop ass on me. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to go down that road. Let's set it off. I'm cool with that. So here's my question before we go any further. And people that hear this will understand after she talks. Adrienne, do you believe in feline people?
Feline people. Not exactly. Not saying that I don't believe. I'm saying I've never met one.
Okay. And that's why I asked, because what I saw in that documentary, it made it seem that that particular individual had a bit of a shamanistic feline energy.
What he had was a hoarding problem. That's what he had.
Well, I was going to say, one of the things you do, because I do study and practice shamanism, is there's things you do. I won't call them ceremony, but there's journeys you take where you merge, if you will, with your spirit animal, and you can take on their characteristics in a meditative state. I'll call it a meditative state. So that's interesting.
Well, there you go. Now that's why I wanted to go there. Now I'm going to go run back up to the split and go back down the other road and go tell us your story.
Okay, so again, a disclaimer. I actually met a person that I honestly believe her story on this same show. We were filming it together. Let's go back. I was asked to be on the show, and I thought, 15 minutes of fame. Yeah, my fault. Nobody else's. Right. Nobody else's. And I thought they would tell my true story, because I was under the impression that when you tell the story, because you're the one telling the story, you would tell the truth. That's incorrect. Right. They do. It's not that they coerce you. It was that I had lights in front of me. I had people beside me I had never met before. And when they ask you to say it a different way, and they ask you questions and then film those questions and edit things and, whatever, I fell into that trap. I will be completely honest. I fell into that trap. It was nobody else. I have
the word you use, though, trap.
Yeah. I thought, oh, my 15 minutes of fame of, the things that I experienced. No, they were embellished. They were, what I truly experienced should have been enough, but for a TV show, it would not have been enough. And I didn't see that ahead of time. I was offered tickets to go there, hotel room to stay the night, and money for food. while I was there, and then a plane ticket back. I thought, oh, this is cool. That's okay. No, I will never do that again. That's not something I'm willing to ever do again. Thanks, Robert. And it's my 15 minutes of shame is really what it is. My husband has not even seen the show. I will not watch the show because I know what it turned into. I watched the preview.
Yeah.
What really happened was I was in my 20s, worked at a hospital. I was head cook in the kitchen. We had enough happen. I mean, nurse got shot right in front of us. From a crazy person. And of course, it's a small place. We all knew each other and we watched it happen. We had to walk around her while we fed the people in ICU. And she was laying there with FBI and, I never did see anything out of her after that. But, we did see Dark Shadows. I had one of those big metal tea containers that we would put out there for the janitorial staff or the night staff when we left, picked up off the thing and flew halfway down the hallway. Now that happened while this person that they claimed was maybe not who he claimed to be. Okay. Him and his wife were cat people. I mean, they worship cats. They were like, the what is it? Egyptian people that worship cats. They were like that.
Okay.
They had their home full of cats. That's their life. They had no kids. That's their business, not mine.
Right.
But, that was brought up because he was there. Mm-hmm. He was there when that thing flew across the hallway. So they turned it to him being there. And so he is the reason that happened. Looking back now, in reality, the reason probably that happened, that used to be the ER entrance where we were. And, ER, who knows what has happened there. People passed right there. People, watching their loved ones go through. As a matter of fact, one of our coworkers watched her husband go through at one point before she even worked in our kitchen. Lots of things could have happened, but I allowed them, and this is what I'm going to say, I allowed them to lead me in a different direction. And after I walked out of there, I went, oh my gosh. And I messaged them and said, please don't play this.
Yeah.
But by then they have already invested my plane tickets, my food, whatever else. They're not going to do that. Now, it has been years before it was played in the U.S. It was played in the UK first. Somebody messaged me and said, hey, I see you. I'm like, just don't. But, it is, you can allow yourself to be led, or you can stand up and say, no, that's not what happened. And that is not what I did.
Right.
Lights were in my face. There's no excuse. I allowed myself to be led. And that's what I want to portray to everybody. And I'm not saying everybody that did this did, because Mary Jo Chudley was with me. And I believe her story. And I believe she, she's on lots of them.
So that was that same documentary?
Yeah.
She was part of. Okay.
And, I believe her, and I believe she stayed true to her story. I allowed myself to be led. Now, I don't know if she did or not. I really don't.
Right.
But I know her. I respect her. And I know lots of people who have been on shows and know them behind the scenes and know things really did happen to them. Yeah. Or they're sticking with the story. One of the two. I'm not sure which.
And that production company has spun a web of bullshit.
Yeah,
which we're going to talk about in just a second.
Well, what I would add to that, having actually just come from a Paracon where the topic of TV shows and podcasts and all of that was actually a topic that was discussed by some dear friends of mine that have been on TV.
Oh, Richard.
If they don't, what I understood just from listening to them, if they don't lead you into the direction, they will. Even if you say something they don't agree with and that doesn't do the narrative they want, they'll cut it, take something you were in agreement with on something completely different and put that on there. And like you said, they will pay for a lot of these people who do like whole series, which I didn't realize to this extreme. It came up like, what do you think it is if you're a regular on a series like Paranormal Caught on Camera or like you're a regular and you're just putting your input in? They only make couple $100, and it's not like they make bank. So,
I made nothing. I made
you know
nothing.
what I mean? So if they don't get in your ear and twist you, they will still twist it.
Yeah, and they did. And I've also, when I first got in the paranormal field, we were given a chance to be on TV, and I saw the contract, and I refused the contract because the contract does state they're going to send you places that are presumed haunted, and you're going to. They don't say it in these words, but you're going to have an experience whether you do or not. So, and I refused that. So knowing that before this even happened, I should have known better, but I didn't. And that's why you do not see in my bio as seen on haunted hospitals. No, you don't. Because no, that's not what I want known for. Because it's not true. I mean, it's true, but not to that extent.
And the extent, if you go and see this, it is maybe a third of what they're trying to project out in her case. Watching the whole thing, I was stunned at first because I was like, I'm actually catching it. And Sarah's like, what's the matter? I'm like, that's Adrienne. That's Adrienne. And I'm like, I did her case. So I was like, I watched her. Yeah. And
that's one thing we get from this. You're like, I'll be in my another room and I'll hear a voice. I'm like, that's
exactly what
and
happened.
I gotta go run and check it out. That's this friend of mine.
And I love to do that because that gives me a chance to support the people I do know. Right now, let's make fact be true. We create the stars. It is our responsibility and our fault for any of their uplifting because we gave them that power. We're going to talk about that in just a second, a little bit more. But I say that a lot. I do say that a lot. That people need to take a better understanding and stop jumping into, okay, why are you charging me $300 when I made you?
Right. And just like Keith said, Keith is actually a friend of mine, a very good friend. And I do know his story is 100% true.
Correct.
And he wasn't led down that road. He didn't allow himself to be led down that road. Let's put it that way. I did. And that's the difference between my fault and, had I stuck to my story, I probably wouldn't be on there. And that would have been perfectly fine as well.
I disagree. I think you'd have been on there. They would have just found somewhere where you agreed to what their narrative was and put that in there. And you were talking about something completely different.
That it could have been. It could have been. It very well could have been.
But you're human and it's easy to get caught up in the moment of anything. Not even just TV, anything.
Yep. Let me read this for those who are listening in. Keith Osberg chimes in and says, I'm very, very thankful for the Dead Files. Didn't do that to me. They helped, and that's what I needed. Yeah. So rock on. That's exactly what we're talking about. Again, we're not trashing anybody. We're talking and discussing it, but this is her story. And I told her I wanted to give her that voice. And then my sister stepped up and said, talk about it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and it's just interesting because I literally sat in on a panel discussion on this same thing last weekend, the other 2 weekends ago. So it's just like, wow.
Synchronicity, huh?
Yeah. And the sad thing is, people give people on YouTube. Now, I'm even going to say about YouTube, some of them are over the top. They're very much over the top. But then they're the ones that are not, that don't get anything, and it's boring, and people don't want to watch them. And it's like,
Exactly.
and these other people don't like them. Like the TV shows don't like them because they're portraying it as it really is.
That's exactly right. We're going to talk about that in just a second too. Jeremy says, I actually got the call for Ghost Hunters reboot, but I ended up missing the call, and it turned out to be a good thing because I wasn't going to be cast with a group of strangers. I wanted my own team, people I can trust. And actually, we're going to talk about that particular group and others too. So please, those, if you support Ghost Hunters and Taps and Ghost Adventures, take no insult of what we're going to show tonight, but do understand that we've got fact. And there's people do things when they get desperate. That's a human nature right there. We're going to see that. Let's see. Keith jumps in. He says the way they can use AI these days, they could take a likeness and voice and make us say whatever they wanted to. And I totally agree with that.
We see that in politics every day.
Exactly.
And the thing is now people are more AI aware, but AI, that's been going on.
Very true.
Count fingers, guys. Count fingers.
Yeah. And don't take your toes in. Keith says, same. I'd want my team.
Exactly. I'd want someone from my team to be a part of it.
Yep. And Rob says, thanks, Keith. So putting it in there. So we do have some more videos, and these are short clips. I didn't go for long ones. I wanted to go to make a point so people can understand where we were coming from. I'm going to play this one, and then I'm going to talk about the Irving case. That's right. Going to talk about SOS right here. And then we're going to jump in a couple more and just go with the flow. That's the way we should do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the channel back up, and I want you guys to hear this gentleman. I think he's very interesting. And this gentleman is Doko Documentaries. Okay, you can find that on YouTube. This was a year ago, and this dude is on target. Let's roll with it. It's 8 minutes.
I'm Mustafa Gadalari, and I'm a paranormal investigator. I grew up in a haunted house from day one. The first night that we moved in there, I just really wanted answers, so I started studying the paranormal, looking into it more, investigated with some people who were interested in the field. One of my longtime friends, he had sent me a casting notice for A&E's Ghost Hunters. They flew me out to Burbank, and we did a casting. There was tons of questions. They wanted to see how you were able to present your ideas on investigating the paranormal on camera, and the rest is history. Some of the most common tricks you're going to see paranormal investigators use in order to dupe people are REM pods. When you're working on a TV crew and everybody's got a walkie and everybody's communicating with each other, those radio signals will set a REM pod off. You could use your car key fob and set a REM pod off. That could make it look like you're communicating with somebody. Old school tri-field meters, the ones with the dial on it, the analog ones, those can be set off too. The flashlight trick, you get those screw-on flashlights. The belief and the theory is that if the flashlight turns on, there's an entity kind of putting some electromagnetic force to join the conductors, and that's getting you to communicate with an entity that's using the flashlight as a conduit. I mean, anybody will tell you that's just, anybody who researches flashlights and stuff will tell you that's just an aberration. And when you see these shows that do the flashlight trick, yeah, sure, they'll be cutting together stuff that makes it look like there's a direct response on the flashlight, but what they're not showing you are the 700 other questions, or however many that they asked, that have no bearing on the investigation. You could say anything. I'd be very reluctant to kind of catalog any of the stuff that we've gathered from using these methods as a, veritable data as to there being something spooky going on location. The producers that I've worked with on Ghost Hunters, to my knowledge, didn't fake anything. We've used a lot of really rock solid. I know mine and Brandon's investigation, mine and Daryl's investigations, we've used a lot of really kind of rock solid technology that's hard to manipulate. We've never used REM pods. We never tried the flashlight trick. The EDI pluses that we used, you have to get right up on them and breathe into them, into the sensors, in order to trip them out or to mess with them, to make them go off, so to speak. The body camera footage is ripped directly from the body camera. We kind of handled all of our own data, the EMCCD camera. I do know that the executive producer of A&E's Ghost Hunters, Mike Nichols, he's a believer in the paranormal, from what I know. And all my interactions with him, he really, really, really stringently urged us to be as thorough as possible. We reviewed our own footage for the show. So to the best of my knowledge, and I know that phrase kind of seems like a cop-out, but I've never seen any producers fake anything in Ghost Hunters. Have I seen instances with other members of the team where producers tried to get them to talk up certain things that happen? Yeah, I've seen that. Technology really isn't.
Okay. Now, here's the problem with the reason why I cut this out. He's saying one thing. Now, I think we all know why he's saying this. However, I'm not going to be a dick and go, dude, stop trying to blow hot air up people's butts. I'm just saying. But he's got some great points, too. In the beginning, he started out strong. He did say some of the right stuff. Cell phones, key fobs, all these things can affect your REM pods and your K2s and your tricorders. He's right. You know, even computers affect these things. And if you get a big enough electromagnetic drive, not saying that they do this, but if you put that thing in a spin off the side on the other side of a wall, it's going to set everything off because it's in a high frequency. It's pushing out the electromagnetic even faster and harder. So it's creating that frequency out.
I mean, and it doesn't have to even be close.
No.
Which is, some people will make sure their phone is off, or because they're sitting right next to something. You know, we do a murder mystery thing every so often, and we were doing a spooky one. It was all to make a REM pod go off, and I knew exactly how far away to be to hit the walkie to make the REM pod go off, and it was a good distance where nobody could see me. It's not like I had to be right up on it. I mean, I was a ways away to make it happen.
I'm going to say this. I know him personally. He is a friend of mine. I also know he has backed away from the show. I have investigated with him. And
now you know why I picked him.
He is amazing. To me, I don't believe he would ever lie. Now, I don't know what he has done while he was on contract.
Now, is manipulation lying? I mean,
Yes.
if you're being manipulating,
yes,
you're being
absolutely.
You know, it's that catch-22 fine line, I feel.
Absolutely. Same thing I did.
But it still
it's a
is.
complete lie. I
Yeah.
mean, omitting the truth is a lie. Adding to the truth is a lie. And that's why I came on, because, yes, adding to the story is a lie. Absolutely. I don't know if he did, if this was before he broke away, if this was, but when we investigated with him, he called people out on everything. If they would say, he'd like, whoa, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen.
Right. You got to put that in sequence. Yeah.
And I do want to say, the man was supposed to be paid to come out, right? We did pay his plane ticket out to this event. I was with a group that was less than reputable. We're going to say that.
Yeah. Honesty.
It was my first group ever, my first experience. I actually got in the field I owned a cleaning company. I worked in New Mexico. Oil field is huge there, and people come from all over the U.S. and work the oil field for 2 weeks, go home, change out. That's just what happens. I was in charge of a man camp, and this guy, which I should red flags, obviously.
Right.
I like to trust everybody until they prove different. Well, they usually end up proving different, but he says, "Hey, do you believe in ghosts?" And I'm like, "No, not really. I've never encountered one." He says, "Well, I'm a paranormal investigator. You want to go with me?" I'm like, "Yeah, prove me wrong. Let's go."
Oh. Yeah.
This is the same man that I did join his team. We put on something to save a location. Mustafa came out. We paid his plane ticket. We paid his motel. He was supposed to also be paid a little more than this.
Mhm.
And he said, now, mind you, not many celebrities are going to do this. This is how we met. I was his point of contact because I was HR for the team. And he said,
Jeremy says, then I stole her away.
it wasn't much of a steal. It was like, oh, somebody who makes sense. Okay, let's do this.
Hey, Miss Jennifer, how are you? Good to see you and welcome to the show.
Hey, sweetheart, love you. It was one of those things of it was for themselves and not for what they were supposed to be. And here I am, the face that this celebrity sees. And behind the scenes is screwing him.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness he understood. And I have all the respect in the world for this man because in the end, he said, my money, don't worry about it. He said, don't worry about it. Give it to the location.
Right.
He investigated with us.
He's actually done that on multiple occasions. I can back that up as well. So I will say that.
He's amazing. And he's the only celebrity I really know. But he was amazing. I have nothing but good to say about him. What he's done in the past, I don't know. But as of 2022 and on, I believe everything he says. Now, again, I know the contracts with these films.
Right.
And I know you can get sucked into it. Now, whether you want to come out like me and go, I was an idiot, or if you want to stand by it and say, oh, yeah, well, it was, I don't know. I choose to come out and say part of it was true, but I allowed myself to be sucked into stuff that I should not have.
Well, you're holding yourself to the responsibility. I can understand that. That's the right thing to do. You're stepping up and, hey, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't all that way. That's a lot of that's bullshit. It was created. This is the real fact. A client get mad because the K2 was going off high, but the damn thing was pointing at the home computer. I'm sorry, I didn't find anything. Everything described was debunked. Sorry.
Well, that's why, we don't charge to go to persons' houses because we can only do what we can do and report what we legitimately can report.
Exactly. And see, that's why I'm not going to get into the entertainment side of Paracons and expos. This is a show we're sticking to this basing, and we could go further and go down that rabbit hole, but I think we should stick to this, and we're doing a great job at it. We continue this because we need to shine the light on the truth. That's what this show's about. Now, we've got 4 minutes left. I am going to do one more video, and it's only really short. We're going to come back. Now, Adrienne, would you like to continue this series?
Yeah, I would.
Yay.
Okay, we're going to go into 2026 with it. So, for those of you who have paid attention and you like this episode and what we're doing tonight, we will now officially continue this straight talk about Paranormal TV, and it will take place in 2026 in January. Please look for that date to come out. So let me put this out here, because this is another one that I wanted to pop up, and this is what I was talking about. So bear with me, guys. Don't get bitchy. This is just fact.
You should be heard. So this is why I'm here to communicate with you.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Be heard. So this is why I'm here to communicate with you.
I can hear someone screaming right there.
What's wrong?
Can you go and sit in the chair in the middle of the hallway?
What was that? Dude, what was that? I don't think that was outside either. It sounded like a patient screaming.
Right.
What was that? Dude,
Okay.
yeah, that was. Did you? That was like a shriek of pain.
Scream.
Why did I bring this up? And I'm going to tell you why. And I can see their point of what they're trying to place here. However, this is where you not knowing birds and animals, etc., can come into play. So if you don't know what you're hearing, that could, and now look, holy crap, I'm saying this, that could have sounded like one of those screams, or I'll go with that. I will. However, I have experience in the field. I have experience in the woods, in doing investigations in the woods, because one of our locations takes place inside of a quadrant in Ashland, Virginia, that is settled to the Civil War, but it was owned by the governor thereof of Virginia. And our research has taken that whole prop situation for that whole mile, and it's been really great to get outside. What else does that mean? Well, it also means I know the sound of baby deer. I know the sound of regular deer. I know the sound of bobcats. I know the sound of foxes. And I know the sounds of owls. Everybody thinks an owl goes, hoo, hoo. That's who bullshit. No, it does not. What he was hearing was a freaking owl. However, okay, give credit where credit due. They're trying to put that across, and they think that's what it is. Now, at the time, I'm sure they believed cold-heartedly that they had something.
Maybe. Here's my thing. I want to see when somebody gets an EVP, what I want to see is the recorder in their hand. Because you can run your finger over that recorder and make all kinds of noise. And you can send it to 10 different people and they get 10 different answers. Now, if you tell them, this is what I hear, oh my goodness, they hear it too. It's the power of suggestion.
Well, the funny thing is, you just said, I'd like to see it in their hand. I'd prefer not to see it in their hand because that would make me more believable of what.
Well, true, but you don't want to see their finger going over it.
Right.
That's another thing. Very true. Especially if it's one of those high quality digital recorders like a DR60. Just saying. But then again, I'm going to give credit to my brother. I'm going to give him credit to my brother again, Sean Elliott. He did his testing and in groups and in quiet room with that D60. So he's got it down to where he can capture and close off, and he knows what it sounds like rubbing it, when he's walking with it. He showed me this week, and I was really impressed. I'm like, I'm so proud of you. You did some great work with that.
Yeah.
Where others, man, sometimes the Olympic get them a whole lot better than some of these more expensive ones.
Yeah.
Time and time
And that's the thing. Again, you have to trust the person that is doing this to tell you, I didn't touch it. I didn't do this. I didn't. And most of our evidence is personal. And I think that's all part of the afterlife. You're not going to get hard evidence. You're just not. And you have to trust the person that is telling you this.
And the other problem with the field right now, and we're getting out of the subject, but I will back her up on this one, is we're failing to properly document everything that goes on per team, per location, because nobody wants to work together because everybody's head's too damn big.
Yeah.
If we can, hey Sean, we were just talking about you, brother.
Have your ears been burning, Sean?
Haley Jr.'s in the house. Yeah, you got to go back and check the archive. Sean is a good one. So, everyone, this is Sean Elliott from HCP, Hill City Paranormal, and he's, I'm sure, on location right now at 8 o'clock on location, or head to the Sandusky house. So, it's interesting what we come up with, what we see. There's so much more. This could have been one of those shows that could have gone 2 or 3 hours. Easy.
No, I like your idea of it's a series.
I think this is something we should do. And this is also camaraderie between the two networks.
Yeah.
Now, we're showing a seed. We're showing that this is a unity. And it's the way it can be. You don't get along with everybody, but you can work beside somebody you don't like. And if you can't do it, then you can walk away. That doesn't hurt anything, and they can say all they want because it's word against word. Screw them. They're not paying your bills, and they're not your family as far as blood or whichever. So remember,
and there's no need to respond. There's really not. I mean, you can respond if you want to, but that just makes you on the same level as them. So just don't respond.
Exactly. Sean hits. No.
All good, Sean. All good.
Sean's hit me with the preaching brother. He knows what I'm doing. Rob says, I agree. Contaminants is a problem.
It is.
Contamination is a huge problem. That's why we do it mostly at night, but that doesn't mean anything. You can go in the daytime. But where are you going in the daytime? That's another place that matters. What if you're in the catacombs? You can do that day or night. You don't know what.
My house.
Anytime. Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm going to say that about FPRI's location, Belgrove. We get a lot of evidence during the day when nobody's there.
Yeah, I mean, what's to say spirits only wake up at night? I don't believe that.
Nope, I think
not at
all the time.
But one of the very first things I ever did was at a Masonic temple, and of course they're on ley lines, and they're supposed to be, whatever, enhanced. I was watching the video, and thank goodness I had the camera on me while I had the EVP recorder in my hand. And I was standing up, and of course, oh my God, gruntness, I got up. And what it sounded like was "you bitch" on the EVP. But if you look at the recorder, the actual camera,
very true, Sean.
It was me grunting as I'm getting up.
Well, there you go, debunking your own shit.
Oh yeah, like immediate. I was like, oh my gosh, But
everybody seems to be saying, yeah, they love daytime investigations.
Yeah,
me and Robert love it too. Now, one thing I'm going to say, then we're going to start wrapping this up real quick here. Going back to talking about a few things. One of the best EVPs I've heard is when Ryan Jones actually forgot that he had a digital recorder in his pocket. This is in Powhatan, Virginia. And we were walking back, and he completely didn't know it was there. When we got inside and he went and did his research, and he did his backing on it, he's like, dude, you're not going to believe. He got some of the most incredible Native American chanting and drum playing. And now some people are like, oh, that could have been his pocket or anything.
You can hear his
However,
pocket. You can hear
you can hear the pocket
the
exactly.
contamination.
We got confirmation from a Manapanai Native American that was legit. It was
Yeah.
real. How can you get any work better than that? You know.
Yeah.
Jeremy hits up. Debunking doesn't exist. Everything's a demon. Well,
Or the Mexican we ate
Well,
for
you
dinner.
know, when you have a demon on your team, what can you say?
should have heard Sean last night about this shit. All right. Well, this is what we're going to do. When we follow up in 2026, we are going to talk a little bit more about Ghost Adventurers. We are going to talk about, and yes, I'm going to be honest, we are going to talk about Jason and Grant Williams. Wilson, rather, sorry. We're going to talk about some of this because those need to be talked about. We're also going to be talking about these YouTubers that are coming out with the fake stuff. And, you know, there's on the flip side, there's some good YouTubers that come out with good stuff and they're working hard. They need that credit. They do need that credit. They deserve it. But 3/4 of them are shit. They're out to get something and it's crap. So, you know, be mindful of what you're watching out there, folks. And then be mindful of the people that being interviewed. Because, you know, after that, they may not want anything to do with the paranormal. But if you come up to them and recognize them, you may have traumatized them. Just remember that. Food for thought. So we will see you on this episode in 2026 in January. We got some more videos. We're actually going to be sharing some stuff from Viper Paranormal, Mike Sinclair, right here in Shenandoah Valley. So we're looking forward to that. Again, Adrienne, I cannot thank you enough for being here and helping us with this. Jeremy, thank you for allowing us to take her from you for a night. Rhonda, thank you so much. And
Absolutely. This was a blast.
It is a great travelers and those alike continue to help each other. And I'm not going to go much further than that. You all know this. Help each other, get yourself back on track. And as always, may virtue be yours.
And do something good this week.
Yeah. Definitely.
Be good. You're right. And maybe, you know what? I'm going to follow up with this one. Be good to yourself.
That.
Where it starts.